Hey, it's your bro. Hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to explain getters and setters in JavaScript, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Alright people, getters and setters. These are ways to get or set the properties of an object. They secure better data quality, and they can do extra things behind the scenes. I have a simple user object. There's three properties: first name, last name, and full name. Full name contains a function that will return this first name and this last name. So without using getters and setters to assign some of these properties, I would just type the name of the property, so user.firstName, and we can assign some first name like SpongeBob, he's a cool dude, and then let's assign a last name to this user. So that would be user.lastName equals some last name. Okay, then to call this function within my property full name, within a console.log statement, I would type the name of the object dot the name of the property full name, then add a set of parentheses to invoke it. And as you would expect, this displays SpongeBob SquarePants. Now this time, let's assign some values to these properties using getters and setters. And there's a specific keyword for each of these. We will set some of these values of these properties. So let's create a setter for first name. So we use this set keyword followed by a unique function name. Let's say first because we're going to set the first name. And then there is one parameter. And with setters, there can only be one parameter. So let's just name it value. So within the setter, we will take this dot first name and assign it equal to our value that we assign. Now let's do the same thing with last. Set last. This.lastName equals some value that we pass in. Then be sure to separate these setters with a comma. Okay, so now what we're going to do is use user dot the name of the setter. So this would not be user.firstName, it would be user.first. So currently this works the same as before. However, we have an entire block of code dedicated to assigning and formatting this value. So let's say we would like to make the name all uppercase. We can just add that on. Value.toUpperCase. And let's do the same thing with last name. Cool. My name is all uppercase then. So if there's any other formatting or calculations that you need to do, you can just add that to your setter. Now let's change this full name property to a getter. So we need to use the get keyword. Let's get rid of this function portion, but keep the parentheses. Now to access this full name, we do not need to invoke it. We can access it like we do a property. So that would do the same thing too. Now where getters and setters are really useful is when you use them within a class. So let's turn our single user object into a class. Class user, and let's create a constructor. Constructor, and there are two parameters, first and last. First, comma, last. Now let's take these two lines of code and we're going to move them to within our constructor. And they are going to behave very similarly. So this.first, this.last. This.first equals first. This.last equals last. We can get rid of these properties here and get rid of those commas. Okay, now let's construct a user object. Let user equal new user, then pass in a first name and a last name. SpongeBob SquarePants. Cool, let's create a second user. So we have user1 and user2. User2 will be Patrick Star. And then we have to display the name. So user2.fullName, SpongeBob SquarePants and Patrick Star. So that's the benefit of using getters and setters. It's a way to get and set properties of an object. It secures better data quality, and it does extra things behind the scenes if you need to do any sort of formatting. So those are getters and setters. If you would like a copy of all this code, I will post this to the comment section down below. If you can, give this video a thumbs up and drop a random comment down below. And well, yeah, those are getters and setters in JavaScript.